Did you know that 9 out of 10 fantasy-related injuries are caused by dangerous luck dragon driving? Hi, I'm Mort Schwartzberg. Have you been involved in a luck dragon driving incident that left you afraid for your life and covered in garbage? Then I want to represent you. I will fight to make sure that you get the payout you deserve for the emotional trauma of being run down by a fantastical sky beast from another realm. Call 1-800-END-LUCK and I will personally ensure that the only lucky one will be you. Also, unicorns suck. We watched The Neverending Story and Legend.
Ah, the French champagne.
Champagne!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
Once they were men, now they are land crabs.
Amanda Bynes is a national treasure.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
Hey, Daddy lost his eagle.
I hope
So-
no one from my family listens to this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is... Hello, welcome back to another exciting episode of Citizen Kane versus. Welcome, everyone. Right away, my name is Jack, and I'm joined by my two friends, one
Sean Jacqueline.
and the other.
Daniel Benoit.
Ooh, getting sultry today. Thanks, Dan.
Daniel Benoit. Is that better?
Dan. Hey, Dan.
Hey,
Dan.
Dan.
Dan Benoit. And this is a podcast that continues to exist beyond the pandemic because it's not just about that. We are committed. We believe in this, and we still have a decent amount of free time. So like,
And the pandemic's still going.
and it's still kind of going. I literally have COVID right now. Talking about it in the past tense. Yeah, I couldn't work this week.
Jack's
so.
got COVID, so we're all at his place. We've all been licking doorknobs and
Yeah.
sticking our fingers in each other's oatmeal.
It's been really sweet, like
Yeah.
the camaraderie. You know what I mean? Because I can't I don't have the energy to lick my own doorknobs right now.
Mhm.
So just having people to come kind of pick up that slack is really, really sweet.
We got you, buddy. We're here for you.
Okay, that was a bit weird.
Now it's weird? Why is it weird?
Now you
'Cause
made a weird man.
The
Oh,
emotional sentimentality.
Yeah.
That is the literal story of my life. Just making bits
Daniel tries to
awkward.
connect, other person refuses.
Yeah.
Daniel's sad.
Yeah.
That's the story of all human existence. So this is a podcast, if you're unfamiliar, where we take one movie that is considered to be more of a classic, then we put it up against a similar movie in some way, and that can vary in many ways. But a movie that is more on the schlocky side, and we ask ourselves, honestly, as honest as we can, which is better. So we're doing kind of like a month, we said, like a month of, which is 2 episodes, but it's still a month of like children's fantasy flicks,
Right.
sort of. Yeah. These are all those things, right? So this week we have A Neverending Story versus Legend. Legend. And The Neverending Story.
The Neverending Story and Legend.
And the Legend.
It's like the two children. One's the favorite, and one's the one that goes to the corner a lot.
Yeah, it was already going to be a tough fight for me because I grew up on The Neverending Story. I watched it with Randa last night. It was actually pretty cute. We had like a little picnic on the ground because we felt like it. We're just, bored here. So, but like I told her, I had like a little TV set that I sometimes had in my room as a kid. And it was one of those like small, like square TVs, and it had a VHS slot built into
Nice.
it, like vertically.
Sideways.
Vertically on the
Sideways.
side.
Woo!
Yeah.
Ooh.
Was it
I
a
know.
tape chewer?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I think, but pretty good. Like it was pretty high functioning. Like I remember I watched Forrest Gump on that fucking
Wow.
thing, but I definitely watched The Neverending Story a bunch of times. We had that on VHS.
Well, I think the I think
No,
the question we
whatever.
have to be asking right now is
Yeah,
which versions of both did we watch? I think that's now just standard.
yeah.
Are
this
there
is
different
true.
versions of Legend as well?
Yeah, there are.
Oh, fuck.
I-
I watched
so-
the theatrical cut of Legend, whatever that means to
the
you
90
folks.
minute one.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the one
Lucky
I
Bastard.
wish I watched. I
Oh,
watched the
no.
fucking hour 50
Yeah, me too.
fucking
Oh my
one.
God.
Yeah.
What did I
And
miss?
I don't. It's
I think you missed a lot of like the evil minions doing like slapstick.
You know what? I kind of found myself wishing there was like 20 more minutes because it felt like there was a lot of scenes in that movie that just did not make the cut that really would have filled out the story a lot more and
Oh,
made
no,
it
the-
make a lot more sense.
oh no, they didn't have those.
Oh, no, okay.
No, it was
That's
more
good.
like random shots of the sky.
Perfect.
And then like you know how they had like shots of the unicorns?
Yeah.
It'd be like I imagine it was them putting 6 to 12 more shots of the unicorns.
Mhm.
Oh, no.
Stuff like that. Yeah. Lots
Okay.
of those.
So there for Legend, there's the original Ridley cut, which never saw light of day outside of test audiences. It was 2:17 or something like that.
What?
Woof.
Yeah, 2 hours and 17, not
Ah.
217. It was 2 hours and 17. Then the one we watched is an hour 53 or something like that. There's a 95-minute cut that was the theatrical release in England, and then there's an 89-minute cut that was the American one.
And then there's like a 20-minute one. It's just like
Yeah,
a short
yeah.
film they put out in China. Like it's really
Just Tom Cruise bits.
It's just Tom Cruise, and then it's supercut with scenes from Mission Impossible.
2 hours and 17 minutes though.
It's something like that.
That's
Yeah.
bonkers.
I think I definitely watched the right Neverending Story. The soundtrack was as I remember it.
Okay.
Fucking fun synth and
Mhm.
close your eyes.
Yep, that song.
Anyone can see.
Wait, so there's another version of that movie that doesn't have that song?
That and some of the other synth pop stuff. It's just an orchestration. The original German production that is like the European cut doesn't have
Oh.
the song, and is also cut. Some of the scenes are shorter, so it's like it's like 10 minutes longer
In
I
the
think.
European one.
in the European one. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all watched the right version of that.
I think
Yeah.
we did.
But I'm the Jack of the week, I guess, in having watched the wrong version of Legend, or
Oh,
maybe
no.
the right one. I think
No,
I
that's
watched the right
definitely
one.
like I think your reviews might be more positive because you watched a shorter version.
I
of
wouldn't
it.
count on that.
All right, great. Well, to help people get on the same page as us, let's transition into some lovely, lovely intros. So take it away, me.
In the red corner, representing the classics, a bullied little boy named Bastian Bucks turns to the world of Fantasia after losing his mom. This other world inside a book has a young hero, a sick empress, a luck dragon, endowed oracles, and more. But it's on the brink of destruction from the nothing. Only Bastian can save this world of dreams by dealing with his sadness and calling out, Mu-en-ya-ya. Coming in at 92 minutes, starring Noah Hathaway and Tammy Stronach, The Neverending Story. And in the blue corner, representing the schlock, a mysterious villain known as the Darkness wants to kill the pure and magical unicorns, which works out pretty well, because a young woman distracts them for a second for his goblins to shoot one, and so it's all her fault. The Darkness almost takes her too, but for her inner sense of righteousness, and her young lover Jack, and Gump, and that other guy, the one with the wine under his hat. Coming in at 94 minutes, starring Tom Cruise, Mia Sara, and Tim Curry, Legend.
And we're back. So does anyone have anything else they want to say about these movies? Any childhood connection to these movies that we should know about?
Oh, full
know?
on. I do you remember the first time art made you cry like a baby? I remembered today.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Never ending story.
Yeah.
Fucking
Now,
fucking Artax.
Fucking
Did-
Artax, man.
Oh,
30
yeah, I
minutes
remember-
into the movie, which is just cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was like an hour.
I thought it was like, yeah, well into his journey.
No. Fucking, he just starts.
I remember that moment being devastating, but also just being fucking petrified at various points in this film. The
Yeah.
oracles I thought were terrifying.
Yeah. The wolf.
Even the weird fucking the wolf. Yeah, I mean the wolf was always a little cheesy,
Yeah.
but like the lizard dog, I thought was always a little
The
little
dragon?
creepy. Yeah, dragon dog.
I was like, the lizard dog. I was like trying to know what
There's
you
only
meant.
there's only one thing that could possibly be.
The luck dragon.
It's the white dragon dog pedophile.
Okay.
That's what that is.
It is a bit. It is a bit of a pedo.
It's a little pedo pup.
When he's like, "Hey, can you scratch my
Yeah,
ear?"
man.
And he's like,
Oh. His eyes are literally rolling back in his head.
Oh, like it's like the person doing the voice work there like needed to chill.
But one thing I thought was really interesting too is I remember Atreyu being in my mind like almost an adult. I
Interesting.
don't know if you guys had it. Yeah, because I must have been really, really young when I saw it. And it was that thing where like when you see someone who's
Who's like
any
8
older
and you're
than
4.
you, yeah, to you they are like a fully formed human being.
Yeah, and I think that kid is like a miracle of casting,
Mm.
where he is. I'm sure he was like he must have been like 12 or something.
Yeah,
what I
probably
mean?
something like that. yeah.
Probably around there, yeah.
And like that's the kind of age too when like if a 12-year-old is cool when you're like an any age of a kid, it's like the coolest. Like that's like the end of kidness, right? Is 12.
Well, and it's also like for a kids movie, it's pretty fucking adult. Like he goes on a pretty epic journey. It isn't your standard,
Yeah.
kids fantasy 90 minutes. He's like butchering wolves. His fucking partners are dying. Like shit is real for that kid.
He's like
Should-
injured,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I think he's playing this like injury, and I wonder if that was like something that got cut. How he
Mm.
actually got hurt.
Yeah.
I definitely clocked watching this movie that like they don't make them like this anymore. Like
Well, should we start the bell?
I don't know. This is like a
Point?
general
Okay.
thing, but yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just saying like that.
Now speak.
So are you starting round one?
Yeah. Story good.
All right, good. Ding ding.
Bing bing.
Bing bing bing. Yeah, I don't know. This is sort of a story thing, but like, yeah, they don't make them like this anymore. Just like, this was a certain genre of like live action children's fantasy movies that existed. I think it was mainly popular in the 80s is when they had their heyday, and you had
Mhm.
like Labyrinth and this and some people like the Dark Crystal. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yep.
I never really liked it even as a kid, but like those kinds of movies, even like even Muppet movies and stuff, I'd kind of put in that. All the Jim Henson stuff and
Well, even The Princess Bride, like all these
Yeah.
fairy tale
Yeah.
style movies from the 80s. Yeah, it's a very
100%.
specific, particular thing in and of itself, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And now, like, I don't even know what kids' movies are now. Like,
Minions. There are minions in them, I think.
yeah,
I
and
think
like
they're-
Kung Fu Panda and stuff.
I think they're films that have a lot of color that are loud, and you put your kid in front of them, and you just put it on loop. You give them the iPad, and you put the movie on loop. And I think that's how you raise a kid now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Which, it's I'm not going to criticize that because as a kid, I would make my mom stay up fucking playing Star Wars movies for me on repeat until I fell asleep at
Yeah,
like 2 a.m. So I just like, what's the difference? But and I turned out great.
Well.
I know. But I think I miss the children's movie that was like allowed to be complex.
Yeah.
And it usually has a very palatable, like it's well done in one way. It's crafted. Like if you watch like a Frozen type movie, there's a really, really clearly laid out message of the love of your family is the goal, but the nuance isn't there. Like there isn't anything deeper to them.
No, and like Neverending Story is such a just like a journey of grief, and
Yeah.
it drags you through like suffering grief, responding to grief, and then ultimately pulling yourself out by like the tips of your fingernails at the very end. How to do that? Like these are lessons that no one talks about. So to have your kid watch this stuff is like fucking important.
Yeah.
But that said, I think we need to analyze what the real message of the Neverending Story is,
Mhm.
because it starts off with his dad telling him he needs to be more grounded, he needs to pay attention in the real world, and by the end of the movie, he has fully detached from reality.
No, but it is reality.
Yeah,
He chases his bullies down, which I did not remember. He
Oh,
like
really?
He like
Oh, I
assaults
remember that.
his
that
childhood
to me
enemies.
seems like the wrong thing to have that kid do.
Haha, we got him.
Let's go
I
terrorize these kids.
in that scene when he flies down the main street and other people are on the street and they're panicking and like
Yeah.
falling over. And
It's a monster.
there's an audio of someone saying, "It's a monster!" Exactly. That I was like, oh, I don't remember this being a horrifying,
Yeah.
dramatic.
The
I think he's
Avengers
become a god.
respond to it, and that's the sequel film. That's Neverending Story 2.
Yeah.
That's the Marvel universe is the true Neverending Story.
It's
But ting.
it's true.
Bing ding.
Bing,
So
ding.
so
But
Dan, what's your problem with that though?
I don't necessarily. Well, I mean, I have a problem with the open-endedness of the story. It seemed like they were driving towards a real theme or point, and then it just kind of ends with he went
Yeah.
on many more adventures, and then eventually
what does it
left
say?
the attic.
But
But
that's for another tale.
right, so it's meant to set up the sequel, right?
Yeah,
Right,
this
so it's
the movie is the first half of the book.
Oh, this is based on a book.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
and there's a
Yeah.
second movie.
And there's a third movie that is just made up from thin air, but the second
How-
movie is inspired by the rest of the book, I think.
Never seen it.
I probably watched it as a kid, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny that it's called the Neverending Story, and it's like that's for another tale. It's like, but
Yeah.
this one never stopped, so why do a second? What do you
That's
mean
the-
another?
That's the Simpsons joke. Lionel Hutz is suing the makers of the Neverending Story for false advertising.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. How does the Neverending Story book end?
I don't know.
Oh, you never. Oh, you just know
No.
that it's based on a book. Okay.
Sean,
Gotcha.
you're the bookish one though.
I don't know. Am
Yeah,
I?
You're our encyclopedia, Sean.
I think the message is clear though. The message is grief will drive you mad. No, I think it's I didn't clock as a kid that this was about him like dealing with the loss of his mother.
Right?
Mm.
And they
that
has to
it's
give the princess his mom's name in order
Moon?
to over.
Moonchild.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it's
Yeah,
he
I have
says-
no idea what that
No
what that name
It always,
was.
as a kid, it always just sounded like him going, "Yeah, right, you're right," and you'd be like, "Oh, his mom's name is really weird."
Yeah.
Okay, but this is my point though. So if it's about a kid
Mhm.
who is dealing with the loss of his mother,
Yeah.
then the way they have him deal with it is really fucking problematic. Because there is no like mature or what's
Yeah, he's
the
a
word I'm looking
kid.
for?
He- he's-
No. But there's no like healthy psychological resolution to that.
Sure, there is. He
No, there
battles
isn't.
his
No, there
foes.
isn't.
He overcomes it. He names what is troubling him. He speaks it out loud, and he moves past it and continues
But
to
he
be
but
the
he doesn't
creative,
but he,
imaginative youth that he is.
but he doesn't move past it. He decides to instead live in his imagination with this fucking book, and he might still be in the attic of the
if-
school. They don't
Excuse
even
me,
really.
Jordan B. Peterson here, and symbology is very key to your understanding of the never-ending story. So when it says that he goes on to do many adventures, he's metaphorically slaying the dragons that. Oh, sorry, I'm leaving now. Bye.
Jordan B. Peterson here. I just want to say this man is a fraud. He's not the real me. Just based on the symbology of I think, Dan, you're supposed to come in with a third.
You know what, man? I was trying to prep the Jordan Peterson voice in
Hey,
in
Jordan
my
B.
throat,
Peterson
and
here.
I was gonna do that. I was gonna come in with, "Hey, Jordan B.
Joe-
Peterson here."
Joe Rogan here.
We should probably pivot to Legend.
To
'cause
Legend.
we're-
But I was gonna say really quickly though, it's not
Okay,
about
go,
that.
go,
It's
go,
not about
go.
it's not about dealing with that. It's about not letting your grief consume you. Is the real point of it? Is that not letting a nothingness win? It's about still having hopes and dreams. So
Mhm.
that's what the real point is. Not about dealing with it in like a mature adult way.
And
Sure,
then we go... Sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I was going to say we go to the movie where the nothingness has won from the start.
Yo,
And we have to walk through that for a couple hours.
it like took me over like anything. I want you to know I zoned out for like the last quarter of this movie. I have a rough
100%.
I couldn't keep watching it. When they're in the castle and when she started waltzing with a black dress.
That was the
thing,
only interesting part of the film.
Yeah,
I
Agreed.
know, and that's when I was like, and also I'm gone. Like I couldn't. Like Tim Curry was arriving, and I was like, I don't even care.
Yep.
So I guessed I kind of saw, of course, that they had a fight, and I was like, oh, they're taking a long time they're gonna shine a mirror on him, and he'll
Mhm.
die.
And he stabs him with a unicorn horn.
and then sends him
does.
into the void
Space?
of space.
Well, he
that
just
was
like
always just in his lair. I don't
he
understand where that came
repurposed the shot from Alien where Ripley kicks the alien out the porthole of the spaceship and the alien flips back. It's almost identical to
from. Yeah,
that
no
shot.
kidding. Did he also write this movie?
Yeah, with someone else, I think.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really really bad, and like it's so interesting because he is clearly a very talented director,
Mhm.
and yet there is this movie that he's cut together that has no connection from scene to scene. Like
Mhm.
there's no through line whatsoever. I have no idea how it got past like test audiences or how it got past like the first. Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand how this happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even that like the stuff that was cut from the film makes it a tighter like plot line, because apparently mostly what was cut were tertiary character stuff, kind of like, Fellowship of the Rings, how you branch off into the different perspectives as they all merge and go through Middle Earth. Is kind of like that, where we followed different groups of people through the adventure, but they nixed a bunch of that to try and streamline it even more, and it didn't work.
It's the pacing of this movie is awful. Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
The nothingness won.
Oh my god, it's bad.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, it really seems like it was just an excuse for him to experiment with some new practical effects and costumes. It seemed like he had like a general idea of a world he wanted to explore, and then never actually got past like the first draft stage.
And like when something is really popular, like these kinds of movies were really popular at this time, and people clock into that, and then some people try and capitalize on it by doing a similar thing, but they don't actually know what it is that people liked about those movies. They misinterpret it. So he's like, what they like is like these sets, right? And then like a crazy story, doesn't matter, elf people, some makeup, and they're gonna love it. And it's like, those are parts of the things that people enjoyed, but like that's not it. Like, yeah, he didn't do a good capitalism with it.
What's crazy to me is that Tom Cruise leveraged this movie into his role in Top Gun.
Oh, is that what he did?
Well, I don't know about if it was like a negotiation, but Top Gun was his next movie after this.
Holy shit. He would have
Yeah.
already
Really?
signed on by that point, probably.
Top Gun was his next movie?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. I was looking up his credits on IMDb because I just wanted to kind of track his career a little bit because I was so flabbergasted by this fucking abortion of a movie.
Yeah,
And I think
It's after Risky Business, before Rain Man.
What? How fucking old is he in this?
Right? He looks like a 12-year-old boy and like 36-year-old man.
Yeah,
at times. Yeah.
that's Bing Ving.
Bing Bing.
That's a Ving sting right there, buddy.
That's the Bing sting.
I mean, shit. I mean, we didn't give it much time, but like anything else we need to say? There's no story in this fucking movie.
Yeah, I don't really know what else we can say about the
It's the
story of
it's
Legend.
it's Genesis. It's original sin.
Yeah, it's biblical,
that-
right?
Yeah. She, instead of eats the apple, she touches the unicorn, and sends the world into chaos and disarray.
It's weird when like the little elf child also mentions heaven when like Gump or whatever
Gump is his name. Yep.
in Gump is
They
like
stole
just
Tinkerbell.
gesturing and he's like heaven.
Yeah.
Like heaven exists in this fucking world. Like this
Okay.
world had Jesus and people gave a shit. Like if you put Jesus in a world full of magic, he's actually not like a big deal. Like a religion isn't formed around that person. It's like how like Christmas is celebrated in Harry Potter. It doesn't make any sense.
But I mean, it is a movie that has the devil in it, so like clearly there is, you know,
Yeah.
some world of religion or some religious influence. I don't know. I hear what you're saying, but I feel like I don't know.
I wish there was more to
here.
say about this film. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, I think we will have more to say in the other categories, but in
Yeah.
terms of story, it's really
The only
rough.
moment that told a story was the dance number, because we weren't just
And the
getting it
opening
shoved down our
scroll.
face in the opening scroll. But like in terms of filmmaking, like using cinema to tell a story, the only thing was that dance number where she embraced her darkness momentarily
Mhm.
and
Well, I
was
mean-
suddenly that person. You know?
I feel like each scene actually did have little bits of story, but
Sure.
but there needed to be like a scene between each scene to like fill in the gap to like get us from the last scene to the scene
Yeah.
that we're in now.
He's underwater now.
Yeah, like actually, they just
It's winter. And now it's winter.
Now it's winter.
It's winter now.
Yeah.
And Gump has arrived.
Mhm.
All right, let's fucking move on. All right, so let's take we do a quick
It's a break.
little break
Yeah.
for an ad when they play. Thank heavens. Thank the heavens. All right. Let's see you in a sec. Welcome back, everyone. Let's jump straight on into our second round, which is round 2. Production. Good. Fucking bing bing.
Bing, bing. Production very strong in both
Strong.
films.
Yeah, certain parts of the production.
Like art direction, art design, and like and what the artists were creating on set for stuff. Both films, pretty.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, like realizing that they made like a pretty fucking huge forest set for Legend with stuff. I was like, that's pretty impressive. That's
Yeah.
You got a lot of fake snow.
A lot of fakes now.
A lot.
That isn't just tissue paper.
And it was kind of weird when you had a fire burning and none of the snow was melted. But it's a fantasy world, but whatever.
The laws of physics don't apply, man.
Yeah.
Kids
They
film.
don't apply.
I will
did you
say
it's a kids film.
Legend?
I would say Legend is not a kids film.
it's 'cause it's not for anyone.
Then who's it for? Yeah, it's not for anyone then.
I don't know who it's for, but I don't know, man. It doesn't strike me that it's for children.
I think little church groups would put this on.
What? I feel like it's meant to be like a Pan's Labyrinth-esque kind of movie. I don't know that movie very well, but I think it's meant to be
Yes.
more of like I
No.
don't know. I don't know. I don't
It's
know what
supposed
the
to be
word
like
is.
Willow. It's supposed to be like
It's
a
supposed to be.
darker. It's not Neverending Story for like 6-7-year-olds. It's Willow for like 12-13-year-olds.
No, I would even argue that Willow is if it's darker than Willow, Willow is a movie for adults.
No, Willow is for kids.
No, man.
Yeah, it
Willow's
was.
for kids.
Child's
That's
No.
what
Adventure.
that's what I was saying earlier, that kids movies now are for babies, whereas kids movies before used to have like mature themes in them and like scary imagery because it was like an experience. It was like had a maturity to it in moments.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's maybe reading as a kids movie because it's so fucking nonsensical. But just the tone of the film and like I don't know. I'm gonna hold firm on this one. I'm pretty sure that it's meant to be more for adult audiences. Just look at the
Right.
devil, man. Look at fucking Tim Curry in that sweet devil costume.
Yeah, it's very cartoonish.
Yeah, well,
No, that's some
Those-
real shit.
Those realistic horns.
yeah, whatever.
I
But
think he looks fantastic.
He does. He does.
For the
It's very-
record, if we're talking
very
about
nice
production, that the costuming in Legend is
All-
really outstanding.
all I can see
yeah.
For the
is
most
Dave Grohl as the devil in Tenacious D is almost an identical concept. Just cheap,
Yeah.
more cheap.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah,
probably
I-
lifted it from that movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'll say this of the production of Legend. I feel like I could have appreciated a lot of what they made even more if they didn't have particles of shit blowing in front of the screen all the time
Yeah.
for most of the movie. So, yeah, I said that would have been good.
Hopping over to Neverending Story briefly, I watched both versions simultaneously for a little bit because I wanted to see what the German version, the German release and the like American release with the soundtrack we all know in that song.
Mhm.
I watched them side by side for a bit, and what I discovered was that the domestic release, the American one, is not widescreen, and the original one is widescreen. So they ripped the center square out and stretched it out to TV like 4:3, whatever that aspect ratio is. It looks like fucking dog shit, and I switched to the version on Crave, which is the domestic one, because I was like, oh, I want that song. I want the song. I don't want this like nuanced German synth pop that we're getting. But it was a horrible viewing experience because everything is like really close up and people's foreheads are all cut off, and these majestic sets and all the extras they had in the back of scenes are cut out completely. So the like majesty of what they were creating is lost totally. I hated it.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
What a weird thing that you did.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah,
But,
but
I did find myself watching a lot of scenes being like, fuck, I wish there was more extras in this shot.
no, but like production wise, there's the set, it's these beautiful puppets and costumes. Fuck you.
Dan's being a
Yeah.
Dan's being a little dinky.
The nothingness.
Orcus.
What the problem with Legend is that you're given this idea that it's this huge world. They've built this giant set for everyone to live in, and then the devil is giving a speech to like 3 goblins at the end about his ambitions to overthrow the world. So there's this scope that isn't realized visually. But in the Neverending Story, there's a massive set with hundreds of extras and like gigantic set dressing and stuff like that, and it's cut out completely. So again, you suffer from that tunnel visionness.
This is when at the Ivory Castle, the Ivory Tower, where they
In Legend.
No,
No,
there are
Neverending
never
Story.
hundreds of extras in that
yeah,
movie.
what scenes?
Yeah,
are you
in the
talking
Ivory
about
Tower,
with-
there's tons of extras in and around the speech. They're just cut out of the shot.
There's like a few dozen.
Oh no, there's like 50 to 60.
I could have sworn the version that I saw, which was the one on Crave, the
Yeah, no,
shot
that's the
definitely
shit
showed
one.
the entire.
I watched
has-
that
it-
scene. I
it,
watched
like-
that scene side by side.
It like looks
Oh,
down
weird.
at it. Anyway, I saw one where like it didn't feel like I was being cut out of stuff,
Okay.
to be honest. I think like in terms of like the effects of makeup and stuff like that, and I'd even say like costuming as part of that, like the overall character creation is like on a totally different level in Neverending Story though.
Yeah.
Like to me, even like Tim Curry's is good. Like I'm not saying it's bad by any means. It's pretty good still. But Neverending Story is like way beyond the creation of like the perspective stuff they did, and the creation of the rock eater guy and his weird steamroller bike,
Yeah.
and then like the costuming, the creation of the snail, and this, and like there's like so many things like done so well. Weirdly enough, the luck dragon is not as good compared to other stuff, which is odd.
That was the one thing that stood out to me as being really annoying and creepy.
Yeah, like it's
Falco?
talking. Yeah, Falcor.
Just
Falcor?
constantly
Yeah.
coming. I feel like, see, I don't know. I feel like on its own, if we're just talking about costuming and the aesthetic of the film, I feel like these two films are on par with each other. But Neverending Story definitely gets a leg up because it all feels like it's part of the same world.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I think that really helps for the production, as opposed to like I said before, every scene that we jump to in Legend feels like you're jumping into a different fucking universe. So like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how pretty the costume is, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I even noticed like watching the scene. I think it's done so well with Morla. I don't know, the turtle,
The turtle, the ancient one.
the ancient one,
Yeah.
and
Great scene.
how they have the kid, like his clothes get more and more dirty, and eventually there's black from the muck.
Yeah.
And like the way they've, like, I consider like makeup work, like how they've done him up and how some of it gets blown off when he sneezes. Like it's really, really detailed work with like mud and stuff. And just making that scene so effective. I find the stuff in the real world isn't as like well done as I want it to be watching it in retrospect.
Well done.
It's-
How?
I maybe this is intentional. Like it seems like intentionally flatter.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that must be the case. So I guess
100%.
that's probably a choice. But
Yeah.
I love that they try to make cracking a raw egg into your morning smoothie just like a regular normal
it-
thing.
Not a
It wasn't
smoothie.
even a smoothie. It was not a smoothie. It was a half a pitcher of orange juice
Yes.
with raw eggs cracked into it.
Wait, did we see him pour the orange juice, or is it? Oh, we did. Okay, I thought maybe it was just supposed to be he'd already cracked a few more eggs into the blender and he's
No.
just Rocky Balboaing it.
He-
One egg in a half liter of OJ's. That guy's fucking way to start the day.
That's
What a
goddamn fucking breakfast.
Weirdo.
Yeah, that's why he sits at sundown and he's like, I want to have a talk about you fucking,
Imagining things.
yeah, let's carry on now. And drinks his weird thing and he's traumatized again.
And he's like, "Find your own way to school, kid."
Yeah.
Don't
Don't
be
get
late.
harassed by those really the bullies.
The bullies. Where's your lunch money? You owe
Yeah.
us.
Oh yeah, the dialogue is not good.
Design.
Yeah, the design. The music in Legend is also awful though. I hated the sound of it. I didn't like any of the music. I was watching the first little bit of it with
Yeah,
Miranda,
you
who
watched
just got-
you watched the same one as me. Daniel had a different score.
I actually
Legend.
thought the score
Yeah.
worked quite well. Again, I'm
Awful.
now judging Legend on a scene by scene basis. Each thing has its own. To me, it is a series of short films. It is not a thing. But I actually found the score to be quite appropriate and actually quite unique and
Yes.
and fitting.
Daniel got the score as done by Tangerine Dream, and we got the
Ooh.
more symphonic score.
But not even just not even like just score, like the sound design.
Oh, terrible! The
And
sound
Legend is
editing,
terrible.
utter garbage.
And just like the editing and also this how they made sounds, like
Yeah.
the sound when they're getting the discs to
Yeah.
reflect the light, and they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
they're like a really, and this is not, there's enough of that you're just, and they're really grating, unrefined. They're like things that are from digital files that have
Yeah.
been like sent and resent, and so
Well,
they've
it sounded
kind
like
of-
they just had a little fart soundboard, and they'd program the sounds and they were
Correct.
pressing the button. The first time I noticed it was the unicorn hooves in the water. The
Mhm.
splashing was the
Mhm.
same, very repetitive. And then just the laziness of when Tim Curry finally appears and his cloven feet clap down and they have like to make it seem like they're goat's feet. And
Mhm.
then it cuts up to him and he's walking forward, and they put in just normal like human footsteps
Mm.
to and there, it was one cut, and they fucked up the sound edit between the two of them.
Bing bing. Well,
Hot
points-
take. Can I give a hot take?
yeah.
The Neverending Story song sucks.
Yeah, of course it does. It's terrible.
Okay.
No, Jack.
It doesn't quite suck.
It sucks.
No,
it's
it
clumsy and
sucks.
awful.
Yeah,
It's-
it's really bad. It's a terrible way to start a movie. Also,
But I think it has. It just gets. I'm not saying it's a good song because it's definitely not a good song. Like I'm not gonna say that. It has a charm though for being. It's like a Eurovision song written by a
Sure.
kid.
Yeah. 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 That's fair.
Like it's just like that run is awful.
Yeah, that descending run on an E vowel is.
But that's like what like a little girl would sing in like just in her living room, I feel like. So
all right. How many little girls are you watching in their living rooms, Jack?
like dozens. Like they're all it's see this cuts it off in the widescreen.
Right, in the widescreen, it's just a dance
There's
studio.
actually there's a full
Miss Tina's dance studio in behind. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been getting into the pageant business over COVID. So round 3. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Acting. Good.
All
Bing
right.
bing.
now here
here's one.
is a category where I feel like Legend might have a shot, and I don't say that sarcastically. Tim Curry
okay.
is great as the devil.
Super good.
Do you say super gay?
Super good.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Also-
there are shades of that
also-
also though. He has
Yeah.
he has a bit of a feminine flair.
That's
in
the
his
Tim
devil,
Curry
which is-
special is
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
like raw sexuality and a little femininity.
Yeah, it did it for me, man.
Yeah.
Also, what the fuck was his name? Muggle, Marpin, the little kid elf, Gump. I thought Gump was a gold mine casting for that movie. Like he is someone who is both 7 and 65 at the same time.
Does it change your perspective at all to know that his dialogue was total ADR from someone else?
I could tell.
I
Because the
could-
whole
I could
movie
tell.
seemed ADR'd.
Yeah, that's also true.
But him in particular, there's a whole bunch of times where his mouth doesn't even match.
Yeah.
But just the physicality and
Sure.
and the expression, like just through his eyes, like there's a very unique quality about that
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
He's a
I-
standout for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I don't know why they would have ADR'd his lines. I mean, I guess
He sounded too German, apparently. Some producer was like, the kid sounds too German, so they got one of the women that was already voicing other stuff to do his voice.
Oh, that's a shame.
Woof.
But I stand
Yeah.
by what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
Tom Cruise is awful.
Terrible.
So
movie.
bad.
So
Man,
incredibly
he
bad.
sucks.
Yeah,
Oh.
he is dog shit.
and
Pretty though, very pretty to look at.
very pretty.
I don't know. This is him with a unibrow and like getting his teeth fixed. So
But those
Yeah.
he has some chiseled
Well,
features, man. He is
so-
a pretty man.
I was
less so in
wondering-
this.
I was wondering, like,
The hair in his face.
did they ugly him up a bit to make him seem like a character from another realm, or
Like a forest rat.
that's not the
Yeah,
Tommy we know.
Like a forest rat. Yeah,
Forrest
exactly.
Gump. You want to know a funny story? Mickey Rooney was going to be cast to be in the film, but he was one of the characters that had to be around Tom Cruise a bunch. I can't probably one of the goblin dwarf things that
Mhm.
he travels with. But Mickey Rooney made Tom Cruise look too short. Mickey Rooney is not a tall man.
No.
Oh, that's hilarious. But that's weird because Tom Cruise spends most of this movie crouching,
Full squatting.
full
Yeah.
squatting. Yeah.
Full power squat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also-
Mia Sarah
also
was
they-
also bad.
This
Yeah.
the girlfriend,
The girl,
Lily.
yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was Emmy
I thought she was
Rossum for
fine.
like an hour, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh no, it's the girl from Ferris Bueller.
and she's great in that.
I don't know. I thought she was doing a
No.
fine job in this film. I think that it's
She doesn't like break the movie, but she's not good.
Well, I
No.
feel like for her, it's a classic case of I'm acting in a broken movie. I've been given dog shit, and I'm not a Tim Curry. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like Tim Curry could literally make a movie out of anything. He could read the phone book to you for 2 hours and you'd be enthralled.
Yeah, 'cause
Absolutely.
he's a good actor. That's what we're saying though. Like,
Well, he's a different league of actor. There's good actors, and then there's like Tim Curry, the Tim Currys of the world.
yeah, but like we've seen enough fucking movies on this podcast by now and in our regular lives that we can have a total gong show of a movie and still see a solid performer of it. If Kim Coates can do a good performance in Battlefield Earth, then anything is possible. You know what I mean? So
If he could, yeah.
he did. I
Eh.
don't remember. I don't really remember, but I feel like he did a fine performance.
I forgot Kim Coates was in Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, girl.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the fighter pilots or something.
Yeah. Super.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
I thought like the kid who plays Atreyu
Mm-hmm.
does pretty well. Like he does a pretty it's kind of a one note performance most of the time, but there are other shades to it. Like it's a good performance. I really think it was a really like miracle of casting. He does just scream a lot, but he's playing urgency and he's yelling.
It's
and
just it's a weak moment in the overall like movie. It's not his
Yeah.
fault. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Every situation that we see his character in, something
Scream.
terrible has either just happened or he's
Yeah.
getting the bad news of something terrible imminently
Yeah.
happening.
I
Yeah.
know I never want to hear Falcor yell Atreyu or Atreyu yell Falcor ever again.
Correct. I'm done with it.
Mhm.
I'm done. Like that's the kind of thing. The little kid in the real world, Benjamin Bucks or something his name is. Something Bucks.
Bastion.
Bastion, and his last name is Bucks.
Bucks.
I did
Yeah.
B-U-X.
Yeah.
In the movie or in real life?
In the
In
movie.
the movie.
Bastion
He's,
Bucks?
He's fine.
Yeah.
He's like cute
He does
enough,
the thing.
but he's not good. I don't know. He's
I
fine.
spent most of the movie thinking he was the kid from E.T.
Oh yeah.
And then
Is
I
it
looked
not?
it up and realized, no,
No.
it's not. He's not.
Just like
I-
what kids looked like at that time.
Yeah.
I would like to hold on a pedestal the scene between the dad and him as the like you have clunky expositional dialogue. You need to
Mhm.
set up your entire movie.
Mhm.
The main reason why you have to set up your thesis. The grief, the mother death, the dad wanting him to get back to his studies, the school, he's being in trouble, yada yada yada. It's written clunky as hell,
Mhm.
but the dad makes it beautiful
Mhm.
because you're watching a journey of a man who's also struggling with the exact same grief and has just as little of an idea of how to deal with it as his son does, and he conveys it in 4 minutes of film, and it's the only way to do exposition.
I would say both of them are pulling their weight quite well in
Oh,
that
yeah.
scene. Like there is some very, very subtle, nuanced work that little kid is doing.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I do remember kind of flagging that scene as having some really, really quality work in it.
Mhm. He's putting eggs in his orange juice. The man is grieving.
He's having a bad time.
That's so strange. I think generally the kid is like he's pretty good. He's not given a lot to do except just react to bizarre things he's reading in his book.
Yeah, it's mostly there's some weird writing moments, I guess is what I'm really flagging. Like he has
Yeah.
moments where it just cuts to him and he like looks up from the book and he's like, the Oracle. Or he takes a bite of his sandwich and he's like, no, not all right now. We still have a long way to go. And you're like, fuck. It's weird. Read your book, kid.
I would like to hold on a pedestal. Empress.
pedestal?
Yeah, he still says it like that.
Yeah, pedestal.
Okay.
Am I pronouncing that wrong?
No, we've gone over this before.
We
Yeah.
we have gone over this.
Yeah,
No, that's not right. No, we
it's
haven't.
true. Yeah. Just trying to be like in that friendly way, being like, hey man, just so you know, it's pedestal.
Pedestal, stull,
It's
pedestal,
A-L.
stull.
Pedestal.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
The
it's
word
not
of the
like-
week is
Yeah, it's not like a pedophitic stool.
Did we do this on the podcast, or did you try and
No, I think it was in
give me
real
like a
life.
Jack talking to in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That's
explains
his
why
other
you didn't
podcast.
listen.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely tuned those out.
Hey man, just some life lessons here. I'd
Hey,
like
just
to.
a quick thing.
I just want to show you a thing you're doing wrong, Dan. And how I can...
And Dan's like, bye bye.
Anyways, moving past that,
Yeah.
the Empress I thought was incredible
Yes.
for the 4 seconds she was on screen.
Yeah.
Like just acting fucking years beyond her age.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if she ever did anything after this movie or where she is now, but
I
hope
think
she
the
had a
Republic
career.
of Iran, if I'm not
is that real or is that a joke?
She was born in Iran.
Hmm.
Led the Iranian Revolution.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, she's in New York now. Okay.
Is she still acting?
Teaching, I think.
Teaching acting?
One would assume.
Hmm.
Who knows?
Anyways, I thought she was
I love
fantastic.
just as an overall thing, I guess, for all categories. And again, I kind of forgot how well it's done. The whole like layering of how Bastion is a part of the story, and how that
Yeah.
like the meta twist at the end that they fucking went for, but like how like it turns like the first time they direct to camera as they begin to speak to each other, but also to us.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
That was great.
I honestly forgot that was the meaning of the never-ending story. That it is, it's the tale as old of time as time being passed on from generation to generation, as every person in their own way has to tackle grief and loss in their own time.
And
Crazy.
just like the telling of stories and the continuation of
Yeah.
dream and inspiration, and like
Yeah.
even the Empress is like, he's been watching everything we've been doing. He's been with you, and there are people who've been watching him and stuff like that.
So then does that imply, though, that his life is not real, but is in fact just a story in someone else's book?
No, it's the movie. It's us watching him.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
3 layers. It's a 3-layer lasagna of a movie.
I'm not scratching behind your ear, Falcor, so chill.
Yeah, well, you know what? Also, I think it's important to note mention Falcor, notwithstanding that the voice acting of these characters, all the puppet characters and stuff, were actually also quite exceptional.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, Falcor, that was terrible. Oh,
Yeah, Falcor was bad. I thought the other bit characters were really charming though, like Little Snail Man and Bat. I'll call him Batman. Were fine,
well,
but
little Snail Man was someone else who's. I think both of those guys were fully ADR'd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Right.
probably.
And I don't know if that was a situation where they replaced their voices as well, or if they just had the same actors come in and do whatever. But like, I couldn't
Yeah.
really tell if
Yeah.
I was hearing that actor's voice or not.
Yeah. But one dude I thought was really great was the Empress's like speaker who came out and
Okay.
that guy was dope.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, it was
Kryptonian or whatever
awesome.
he is. Like he was wicked. His speech was great.
On point.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Well, end of those 2 rounds. So let's take our last little breaky poo, and we'll come back and we'll close out the podcast. See you in a second.
Ding ding.
And we're back. I hope the ads were good ads. And that they worked and that
They have been.
because
We-
you bought stuff.
We've been getting ads.
Yeah, but I hope the ads worked on the people.
Oh, that they went out and bought. What have we been getting? We've been getting. We had the human trafficking. Oh, you want to know the funniest thing?
What?
Funniest thing is that our Twitter has now reached the. I mean, Twitter's going to hell. We'll have to talk about. We'll have to talk about our persistent existence on Twitter soon. But we've reached the follower threshold, I guess, where we're getting OnlyFans bots. Twitter
Ooh.
OnlyFans bots are adding us.
Nice.
So I would say we're at like about 90% are like real people of people who
Cool.
follow us, and like
Right.
10%, but growing every day, are fake hot girls.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, we're in a good place.
Sick.
That's called growth in the business world.
Yeah.
And in the OnlyFans world, actually.
And in the OnlyFans world.
Yeah, they also have growth.
The other day I was listening to one of our episodes for like quality control, and all of the ads were just like Chinese Toyota commercials.
Great.
Like they were in Mandarin, or
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I can't. I'm bad at differentiating the languages,
Sure.
but it was
Yeah, yeah,
definitely like it was either Mandarin or Japanese or
That's our demographic.
yeah, people who can't discern the difference between Asian languages.
No, that's just like they've been mining the data and they know that our main
Oh.
viewership are Chinese speaking, we'll just say that,
Yeah.
right, to keep it broad, listeners. And so
Yeah.
I think that's just the system at work.
Because of course this podcast is in strong support of President Xi, president for life. Much support, much love.
all
to-
hail Chi.
All hail Winnie the Pooh.
Yes. Oh shit, we're all dead now.
So
Yep.
now that we've done our rounds, let's rate these movies and declare a victor. So, Sean, you ready? You got your
Almost. Bam.
Yeah, I saw you fucking starting to get real shifty over there. So, first round in terms of story, Dan, who are you feeling? Who are you feeling here? Huh?
So in order, it's gonna go 28 days later.
Yeah, of course.
Fair.
Really solid.
Then Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
A
and
sneaker.
then yeah.
More of a
Um,
sleeper.
Yeah.
Then the Neverending Story.
Okay.
Then all the Fast and Furious films, and
Right.
then somewhere beneath that is Legend.
Right.
Right.
That's fair.
Cool.
I think I would say Neverending Story. Honestly, mainly just because it has the word story in its title, so that feels like a real
It's a
power
win.
move.
That's an automatic
yeah,
win.
And
yeah.
it has a story.
Yeah, there's a story there too.
Yeah, I was being facetious. Obviously,
Right.
I think it has a really lovely story, and as I was saying, it actually has a fair bit of nuance. It requires thinking,
Mhm.
which is cool. Whereas Legend made my brain cease to work
Like shut down, like compartmentally shut down.
because it was like causing me pain. Like it caused me to dissociate due to like pain. So I think that'd be a negative point towards Legend, that feeling. So yeah, Sean.
Never ending story. I did the same thing as you, Jack. I like 20 minutes from the end, I was like, okay, good versus evil, good wins. Yay.
He's like flipping up onto a table and stuff, and you're like, this movie needs to stop.
yeah, please.
It-
and
Please stop. There was like a weird shot where like it's pretty dark where there's like some random other elf they met in the jail and they take him away and he's like, no, please.
Yeah.
And they're taking him towards like this like fire kitchen area and there's just a dude hitting a guy on a table and every time he goes like, and then they're like, are we gonna save him? And they're like, it's more important that you deal with
that you
stop
continue.
saving.
Yeah,
That you continue. And you're like, are they letting him? And then they do save him later. They get him out
they
of
do
a
save
pie.
him, but then at that point they pull him out and they like cover his mouth and they're like, "Don't." Miranda's dancing behind you.
Yeah.
The followers
Go
on
on.
YouTube are the elf or whoever it is they rescue, they put his hand over his mouth and they're like, if you make another noise, we're all gonna die. And he was like, okay. And then they take their hand off and he's like, thank you so much. Thank you for all you've done to help me on this day. And then they start throwing metal discs around. And I was like, where's the logic, guys? Anyway,
None.
so
fuck
Neverending
that.
Story.
Great. So there's a point. Let's talk production. But as we said, strong in both, truly.
Yeah.
Like
I think
Legend could be better if it was like 30 minutes, a 30-minute cut, and there was no sound and just like a score over top of it. It could be a neat little visual piece.
Yeah.
It is really one thing we didn't talk about was the cinematography of Legend.
it's beautiful.
And yeah, there is some stunning shit happening. Like whoever the
Yeah, it's
DP on
Ridley.
that film was, what's that?
I mean, it's Ridley's like guiding eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, like so clear that he didn't care about anything except cool looking stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
right?
and making a fairy tale that just reinforces his weird like middle upper class English nobility mindset. It's very weird.
Yeah,
Innocence. What does innocence look like? It looks like the little princess,
Yeah,
the rich
looks
one.
like the two hottest people you can find.
correct.
Well, kind of.
And they
No,
love
Tom
unicorns.
Cruise is hot, man. Fuck off.
He's not in this movie.
He's
punchable. He's really punchable in this movie.
He's
Yeah,
yeah.
but that's because he's a bad actor, not
And
because
yeah, that's not sexy. It doesn't work like that for me.
Yeah.
when he just like stares blankly at the whoever he's talking to at a given moment.
It's so blank.
Yeah, so
Never ending
blank.
story.
His first line when he like leans over her and he's like, I know something
Oh.
sweeter.
Yeah.
I was into it.
Fucking weird. Yeah, never ending story. It's fucking beautiful and majestic and varied and yet cohesive. I love even the design of the little goblin scientist's hut and his telescope and his basket that he takes to get
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
shit
that was a great
cute.
scene.
Fuck, everything about it is so
wa-
good.
I watched that scene side by side, and it's so much cooler because the rock is actually super tiny, so it makes the aspect the size difference between them and the force perspective that much cooler because like it really plays tricks. How can they do the force perspective if it's such a small surface area? Your mind fights that too, so it's really cool. But in the tight version, it's just like you see them really up close around the telescope, and there's no background.
Right.
Oh, interesting. I thought it was a fun choice to give the oracles big perky naked breasts.
Big honkin' tatas.
The Sphinxes, yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like an odd choice to me for a kids movie.
That's
It's
what
just
statues look like.
unnecessary. What's that?
That's what statues look like. What's wrong
Yeah.
with
What's
boobs?
wrong with breasts?
Nothing.
Daniel?
Nothing at all.
Daniel.
Nothing at all.
No,
That is
Sean,
not what I'm
voice
saying.
it. Voice it as a child, Sean. What's wrong with
What's wrong with
What's wrong with
yeah,
breasts?
what's wrong with breasts?
No, fuck you guys. That's not what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Your puritanical roots are
Jordan
showing.
B. Peterson here. Just wanted to say that the breast represents the mother's life-giving capability.
Jordan B.
And,
Peterson here as well. That if the Sphinxes were wearing lipstick, maybe then I would be enticed.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
Yo, this is Jordan B. Peterson.
not sexy.
I love me some titties.
See, that's cool, Jordan B. Peterson.
There's just a cool, different, like, black dude named Jordan Peterson who's like, man, I'm tired of this name being used for other people. So yeah, we all agree production is Neverending Story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a clean
Neverending
sweep
story.
so far.
Yeah.
Great. Acting then.
The never-ending story.
Yeah, Neverending Story. That scene with the fucking horse dying made me cry still.
That first
Yeah.
scene with the dad was beautiful.
It's good. The Empress is good. There's lots of, I think, even all the other supporting characters, even the fucking rock monster acts better than anyone in Legend.
Yeah.
Not, Ti-
No.
Not Tim Curry.
Take
Tim Curry
that
said that.
back.
not Tim Curry,
No.
but
the
I don't
Rock-
consider
the-
Tim Curry being in Legend. Tim Curry
Tim
did
Curry
his
was
own
in a
movie.
film.
He's
Yeah.
he's most of Legend, man. What are you talking about?
He's
He
not
is the
in
Legend.
it until the last quarter of the movie.
But he's in a bunch of it. Then he's in the first little bit of it when he's blue for some reason, and then
What
when
is
he's
the
red,
legend?
It's the legend of purity.
Legend.
and innocence.
Is that it?
It's the legend of good conquering evil.
Okay.
It's just a legend. It's a fable. It's a fucking
Right.
fairy tale.
I think
no,
he
I have
was.
no idea.
I think
Shouldn't
he was
be
trying to. I think he was trying to do like it is the essence of all legends
Of all legend.
of the biblical
and
story
just
and
fucking call it
fallen-
monomyth and be done with it.
Well,
Look, Ridley
Joseph Campbell.
Scott is bad at fairy
Jordan B.
tales.
Peterson. Yeah.
so yeah,
yes.
we
So
agree though.
Neverending Story, but I still would like to hold Tim Curry on a pedestal. But I think that notwithstanding,
And not put him on a pedestal, but
And
like
you'll
hold him
I'm
on a
gonna hit
pedestal.
you with a pedestal.
I am standing on the pedestal, holding Tim Curry in my arms to reward him for his phenomenal acting work in Legend.
It really feels like he'd be holding you. It feels like as the
No, it
devil,
feels
he'd be
that
the
way,
big-
but no, that's not how it happens.
Which part of
I'm
him
gonna-
are you holding?
All of him, but in his Satan suit.
Yeah.
And I'm
All right.
petting his horns.
So without
and
any further
he's
ado,
singing Time
the
Warp to me.
Citizen Kane of the week is the Neverending Story. Neverending Story. And tuck your knees in tight. And do the pelvic thrust.
I think this is our first vote sweep for a pairing.
Ever?
Ever?
No,
I
that
think
can't
so.
be right.
No,
That
I
can't
don't
be
think
right.
there's ever been a film where all of us have all voted the exact same way.
I mean, there are fewer categories, so it's a bit easier
Yeah.
now, but still, these are the categories where people would usually.
I really wanted to find some way to give Legend a little bit of credit, but it's
Yeah.
It's not like it's not a disaster of a film, but that's
No, it
its
is, but
problem.
it
It's-
is.
No, but that's its problem. It is not a total disaster. It's not bad enough to be an entertaining watch, and it's not good enough
Correct.
to be an
That's right.
entertaining watch. It is a disappointing flop in the middle.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
bad
so.
because like there's lots of it in it. You're like, I should keep. This is the production is like you're like, oh, this is this
Yeah.
interesting?
People
And then
put
it's
a
just
lot
like,
of work into this.
and man, it just wears you down, man.
It's just so incoherent.
So with that in mind, Citizen Kane, us Caners out here, the citizens of Kane, let's versus Legend.
yeah.
What do we do? How do we fix it? What does it need?
Ugh.
I think we start by writing a different movie.
Right. No, I
Um,
see that, but let's imagine we're still trying to write this movie though.
Well, it's
But we-
not
but-
Tom
but-
Cruise.
It's for sure not Tom Cruise. I think
Mhm.
in Tom Cruise's stead, it is Timothy Chalamet.
He is
That's
the
his
it
name,
boy.
right?
Okay.
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothy.
Timothée.
Tim. I think he goes by Tim.
But I think that we need, I don't know, this is going to be controversial, but we need like 45 more minutes of story.
No, you don't.
No,
No,
we do.
because
We do.
no,
because
the scene. No,
we
you
need-
don't add. No, because you're
No,
saying
we
this,
need connecting scenes. We need scenes that explain how we get from scene to scene.
No, but you just write the scenes that so they do that, so you don't add more scenes. Like the movie needs to be, for me and Sean, I would say not 2 hours.
Yeah. No.
I don't know where
God
we
no.
are. So it needs to be 90 minutes.
Less unicorn frolicking.
Less like random shots of nothing.
Yeah.
Basis, it does need to have a story though. I think
Mhm.
I don't know why Devilman appears just at the end. Like I think he should be around. Like I think he should do stuff.
He is around.
Well,
he is
well,
his voice is around.
He is omnipresent.
And wasn't
Through the film.
but then they're like halfway through the film they introduced the like Emperor Palpatine figure that he reports to. There's like an ultimate evil above him, father or whatever, that he cries out at the end.
Are we talking about the cloaked figure that appears to the goblins? I think that is also Tim Curry.
Yeah.
But
wasn't
unable-
Tim Curry like at one point speaking to someone else and being
Yes. Yeah, but that wasn't explained.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't even
so-
notice that.
yeah, so
He
there's
said
this like
father or something.
there's
He was
there's
like
this
praying out
ultimate
to
evil, yeah, and as he died he was like, save me, father, save me, and
Yeah.
and he doesn't. So there's the Empire's going to strike back. We're still waiting on the sequel, I guess
Yeah.
is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So
But see,
Ridley,
this is
if you're done making apologies for being friends with Harvey Weinstein, can you make the sequel to Legend? Legenderer, may I suggest as a title?
You can.
you can suggest it.
Yeah,
Legenderer.
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
I think you can keep all the assets you made. You can cut. There's a lot of scenes you can cut. You can cut like scenes like weird green swamp witch is
That he hits on.
slightly enamored with.
That she was one of my favorite parts of the entire movie.
I know,
the actor was so good. The costuming was great. Like it was completely out of nowhere and served zero purpose, but it was interesting.
But it could be maybe like a part of the movie that matters.
Sure,
and not
but
just
this,
like
but this
a
is
stepping stone. So we
my
could do
very
that.
first
that kind of
comment
thing.
was rewrite the script.
I know,
right?
and we're agreeing on that. But I'm saying more specifically how.
Right. We had 45 minutes of runtime.
Oh, no.
No, I agree. I agree. You trim the fat, and so maybe not 45 minutes of runtime. Maybe we within the scenes that remain in the film, we add like 45 minutes of expositional dialogue that help us understand where we are in the story.
It should be that classic writing thing of like what they're doing should always reflect like the plot. Just
we should also know who these people are. We're just presented them as like pure good and like pure virtue, and they're into each other. But we have no context. There's no world outside of it. It needs to be a mini series. It needs to be like an 8-episode HBO mini series. It's got to be Game of Thrones, but for kids.
It's not gonna be on HBO though. This is gonna be like on Stars or something.
Yeah, it will be on Stars.
Man, but this as an HBO series would be hella good. I would say. Well, I mean,
it's
that's
still
where
Tom
that would
Cruise.
fit.
Well, that's what they're gonna
No,
do.
It can't be Tom Cruise.
They'll get Tom Cruise to reprise his role as a stepping stone into the like he's in it for a season and he is blasted into the sun by the devil or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, it just needs to be written. It could be cool. It really could be. It just needs to like not. It needs to fix its pacing. The pacing was a really big thing. So if you could make us feel that like that we're on a journey and not just like meandering through the woods, I think that would do a lot.
I totally forgot about the ring. That like I forgot that he dove down to get that ring in the first place, and that was our like starting. He came out with the ring at the end. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
That means he gets her now.
I thought he got the ring in the beginning, though. What happened to that? Didn't he dive in to get it initially? But
then he gets trapped under the ice or something.
But I thought he had it when he got trapped under the ice.
No, I don't think so.
Don't remember.
I guess not. Again, it wasn't clear.
What a fucking stupid movie.
It's bad. It's a hard fix, to be honest with you. It's not like, just do a bit of this, bit of that.
I think the miniseries idea is probably the winner. Not with Tom Cruise though.
But he's in it for the first 3 episodes. He's the prophet character that like our protagonist has to train with for an episode or like meet and get some wisdom from.
If this were like an animated movie, it might be better.
Yeah.
It would definitely
be
more of a kids movie if we animated it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a big win. Like if you just let it get remade by like I don't know.
Seth Rogen and his team.
Like yeah.
Make it a sausage party.
The sausage
style
party
animation.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. No, like Disney circa like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Sure.
From like 70 years ago?
Yeah.
Cell shading, yeah. Individual hand drawn cell shading, yeah. Sure.
Or current, whatever.
Bring it back.
I think that would be the main fix. I think they would just do it better generally.
Probably, but without any understanding of what is actually happening in the movie, we are boned. That is the
yeah,
correct.
Stakes.
which is only solved by more screen time.
No.
Make it longer.
Make it longer.
Longer. All right, so it's clearly brokenness, but those are our best guesses.
I feel
So
like we failed that round. I feel like
A little
normally
bit.
we have
I don't
better
think so.
ideas, but it's such a like
We had
it
some
really
decent
just needs
ideas.
to be a movie that never happened.
it's hard when it needs like a total revamping of the story. Like it's
Yeah.
hard to say, like, but that's
Had,
the
like-
frank answer is you need to totally rewrite it.
Yeah. But
And not cast weirdos.
I'm convinced that there was a version of this movie where everything made sense and it just got hacked to bits.
I don't
No.
think so.
Because
No.
I don't
yeah,
think so, man.
No.
I mean, maybe
No.
I'm wrong. I mean, I don't actually
There-
think that, but
there-
it
there
feels like a
may be-
movie that has scenes that are on the cutting room floor that would make
Right.
everything like
There may be an
Make more
early
sense.
draft of the script, I will say. Like draft 3 probably was a fucking banger. But I think what got filmed was draft 17, you know?
right.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to say.
Mm.
So anyway, let's move on. Next week, our movies. So again, we are continuing with children fantasy movies.
Is Labyrinth a kids movie?
Oh,
yeah.
It's Jim Henson
I've
puppets.
never seen it, man.
Never seen it? Oh, you're
No.
in for David Bowie's penis.
You sure are.
Is that real?
Oh yeah, man. His codpiece gets bigger in every scene.
Oh, I thought you see his actual penis.
Yeah, essentially.
Sick.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
It's a great movie.
It's a movie. I think we'll see how this will be a more interesting pairing. I think. Basically, I think I've seen both these movies, and I have a feeling it's not going to be as clear cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
Okay.
teaser.
I can see that.
So yeah, it is Labyrinth versus Maze Runner, or the Maze Runner. I think it's the Maze Runner.
I think it's the
Now,
Maze Runner.
Is Maze Runner is based off of a book, right?
Mhm.
Correct.
And is there only one version of it? They made one like 10 years ago, right? Is that the only one?
Should
That's
be.
the one.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I've had this discussion with Sean already, but I realize we're doing a children's fantasy month, which said out loud sounds weird, but I'm down. But I do, while it's still in theaters, want to get this
Oh.
pairing on the show. So maybe it's our first Christmas episode.
Hmm.
But I want to do the original Superman with Christopher Reeves
Okay.
versus Black
Yeah.
Adam.
Oh God.
Because Black
Not-
Adam is getting destroyed by critics.
Yeah. I'm in.
And that is like a classic rivalry in the comics. So to me, it just makes sense.
It's smart.
Okay. I
It's a
mean,
smart one.
all right, because I guess we were never gonna do classic Superman versus like Man of Steel, even, eh? But we can always do
Nah.
Superman 2 versus Man of Steel, whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Man of Steel
Um,
wasn't like, it was bad, but it wasn't like bad enough. I feel like Black Adam is going to really.
Black Adam's gonna have some juice to it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. There might be some redeeming qualities to it also that we can talk about, but I don't know. It just feels right, you know?
All right, I'm down. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that one too, but I think for next episode,
Yeah,
we're
next
still-
one, yeah.
Okay, great, cool. So things to
Yeah.
look forward to, listeners.
Ooh.
But let's meander less and get out of this podcast quicker. So thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed, you can follow us on Twitter while it still exists. Maybe we'll be verified finally. Cause we'll just pay a
Pay that
small fee.
$8 a month.
And you can follow us. You can follow the OnlyFans bots.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
follow
so
us
many
too.
OnlyFans bots. So if you're looking for vaguely sexual images of women laying in drapery, a lot of them follow us now for some reason.
To all of the Chinese people buying trucks on this podcast. Xie. And and yeah. Thanks for listening.
Should we start an OnlyFans?
Definitely, yeah.
Probably, right? I've got like fucking hobbit feet that could make us some real coin. Okay,
Yeah,
or your
bye.
dick.
No one wants to see my dick. Maybe someone wants to see my dick.
Yeah. Definitely. That's that reassuring thing about the internet is that like it might does anyone find me hot? Does anyone want to see me?
There's
And
always
the
someone.
internet's like, yes, we do. Yeah, do it. I'll give you a bit of money. Just take off your clothes. I'll like give you money every month if you just send me photos of your feet and penis together in one photo. All right, thanks
All right.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.